Good morning, everyone. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about your mindset, your focus. At the top of your page, write down why. What's your why? Why do you want to be successful? Why do you want to change yourself? Why do you want to change your life? What do you want to change in your life? What is the why that you have goals? Like, what are your goals? Why? What is your goals all about? Why do you want what you want? Like, what do you really want? No more settling. No more thinking small. No more doubt and unbelief. What would you do if you could have anything you wanted? If things were unlimited, what would you go for? How big would you think? How big would you dream? What would you want if you could have anything? You're living in a world that has caused you to think so small and so limited your whole life. But when you were a little girl or a little boy, you were a big dreamer. You had crazy big dreams. Some little boys were thinking about being a fighter pilot or an astronaut or the president of the United States or something wild, Girls were thinking about being a princess, or whatever, being the princess of a kingdom. And this white knight showing up on a white horse and all that stuff. I don't know what little girls were dreaming, but it was something big. So you got to think big. You stopped thinking big because of life's hard knocks, disappointments. People disappointed you. You disappointed yourself. How many times have you made a promise to yourself, made a decision? I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to go on a diet. Or I'm going to get out of this crappy relationship. I'm going to fix this part of my life. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to get a better job. Why am I here? I don't like where I'm working. I'm going to change this. And then you don't. Or you start a diet and you quit. You get a gym membership and you quit. How many times? So you got to figure out your why, because if you don't have a really solid why that you want to change yourself and your life, then you're going to quit again. And the first thing you got to know about it is you got to change you, because you're the problem. You're the limiting factor. Forget everybody else. It's not about your husband and your kids and your grandma and your Uncle Tom and Bob, the neighbor, or anybody else. It's got nothing to do with anyone but you. Because the one constant in your entire life has always been you. You're always there. You're always the one person who's always present in every situation. And your life is nothing but the sum total of your choices once you're an adult. When you're a kid, it's a different situation. But once you have grown up and you are now accountable to make your own decisions, now it's all about you. What do you think about? What do you talk about? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Who are you allowing in your life? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm the least likely guy from my school, high school, or from where I come from, my family, to become a millionaire. But it happened nonetheless. I didn't get a hand up. Somebody didn't give me some big loan to make it happen. I had to fight my way to the top. But I will give all the credit to God above. Always. It's unlimited, this life. It's unlimited. There is no limits to what you can achieve. But it all starts with you. And it all starts with the way you think. It all starts with your thinking, your mindset. It don't matter where you come from. It don't matter who your parents were. It don't matter where you live. It don't matter what you currently believe. What matters is, are you willing to have an open mind? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to change? Do you desire to change your life? Do you desire a better life? How bad do you want it? What is your why? Why do you want a better life? And it has to be a bigger reason than just you. It can't just be about you. That's just selfish. You got to figure out a bigger why than yourself. It has to be more than you. You know, it could be your son, could be your daughter, could be your kids, could be, your mom, whoever. But it has to be something beyond yourself. It could be you want to help the world. You want to make the world a better place. You got to figure out what that burning why inside of you is. For me, it was my son. And the reason why you got to do something bigger than yourself, it's got to be beyond yourself, is because most of us, if not all of us, really, truly don't love ourselves like we'd like to think. Because we haven't probably experienced a whole bunch of love in this world. It's a pretty tough world. I call it planet boot camp for a good reason. You know what I mean? So the life of hard knocks, that's where I come from. And what don't kill you makes you stronger. You can allow your past to define you, or you can not allow it to define you. It doesn't matter what happened. Doesn't matter where you come from. It matters, what are you going to choose right now, today, in this very second of time? Because right now, on a dime, your life could change forever. You just have to be willing to open your mind and listen to the truth, be hungry for more truth, desire to have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding that is needed so you can change your own mind, your thinking, your focus. You can start putting your energy where it should be going. Most people on this planet, they put their focus and their energy on what they don't want, constantly focused on what they don't like, constantly talking about their problems and everything they don't like about the world. Well, that's the trap. And if you're in that trap, you're not going to get anywhere good. So that has to stop, because wherever you put your attention, that's where your power is going. You have a limited amount of power, so you can't focus it on the things that you don't want, or you're going to get more of what you don't want. You got to focus on what you want. And you have to have a really solid why you want it, so you won't give up and quit like every other time. So what's your why? Write it down. And then understand that if you want to change your life, you got to change the way you think. You got to change your focus. You got to start putting your energy to what you really want. So you have to write down what it is you really, really want. You have to have a plan once you decide what you want. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, whether you know it or don't. You can't just run around like a cowboy, like a short shooter, and just grab your pistols and fire them off this way and that way. You have to be very focused on exactly what you want. You have to be specific. And it has to be one step at a time. Achieve one goal at a time. Because you got to build your confidence in yourself and your faith in yourself. You can't just have faith in God. So your identity is important. What is your identity? I have discovered in my career, and just life in general, that about 99.99% of the population has an identity crisis. They don't see themselves the way they should, because their identity is all wrapped up in how other people have been treating them, or how they've been treating themselves. For example, in Canada, United States, most people drink and eat like crap. Like, they take terrible, terrible, terrible care of themselves. And there's people all over the world guilty of this. So what does that tell you? It tells me, and it tells you, if you're paying attention, they don't love themselves much. They're not grateful for the gift of life that they have. They don't see life as a gift, and they don't see themselves as a gift to the world, because they have an identity crisis. And why is that? Because we are all programmed and conditioned. I was programmed and conditioned just like you, living on the same planet in the same time as all of you. And my upbringing, my program and conditioning wasn't going to set me up to be successful in life. Not a bit. It wasn't going to make me wealthy. It wasn't going to set me up to be healthy if I had kept some of the bad programming and conditioning that I was provided. So I recognized I didn't like it, didn't want what I see all around me. I didn't want the life of my parents. I didn't want the life of my friends. I didn't want the life of my teachers. I didn't want the life of the people that went to the church my parents went to. I didn't want any of it. So the first thing you got to do is recognize what you don't want, but don't focus on it. Figure out what you don't want. That makes it easy to help figuring out what you really want. And then look around, take a hard look at the people in your life. Stop being delusional and don't fool yourself anymore. Look at the people in your life, take a hard look. Because here's what I can tell you. This is a fact. Every wise guy knows this. Every wise woman knows this. You are going to become just like the people that you are investing your time with. And you won't become anything more. This is a fact. For a period of time, I cut everything out of my life, everyone out of my life. And I just focused on getting myself right, my thinking right, the way I talk right, my lifestyle right, living my life like a champion so I could become a champion. Champions don't think negative and foolishly. They don't allow their time to be wasted with idle chatter about stupid stuff. You have a very limited time on this planet. You don't have any time to waste. It's far too precious. And you don't have your time to be wasting with fools. Most of you, your biggest problem is you're a people pleaser. And most of you don't realize the value of your time. You don't understand the value of your life. Why would you? Because we're not programmed and conditioned to think this way. So your time is the most precious commodity. Literally the most precious commodity in existence, because you have a very limited amount of time. And the time I'm spending with you right now, I can never get it back. And you can't get it back either. We can't get a moment of time back. So you have to use your time wisely every day, all day long. And time is what they're trying to steal from you. You might not know who they are, but I do. So you have a limited amount of time in a day. You have the same amount of time in a day as I do. You have the same amount of days in a week as I do. And you have as many years left as you have left, based upon how you choose to think and live your life. So I wouldn't waste another day if I was you. I wouldn't waste an hour. So get really clear on what you really, really want. Write it down. Why do you want this life? And then understand it's all about you. It's all about you making decisions on how you're going to think from now on, how you're going to talk from now on, who you're going to allow around you, and what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to live a life worth living? Are you going to do something great with your life? And why are you going to do it? Like, what's your purpose? What's your reason for living? Like, what are you doing on this rock? What are you doing on the planet? What are you doing here? What is the reason why you exist? Why were you created? And what is it you're supposed to be doing while you're here? You're not here for shits and giggles. You're not an experiment. You were put on this planet precisely when you were supposed to be here. You're not an accident. You're not a mistake. It doesn't matter what you heard. You're here precisely because it's when God decided that you would start your life, your journey on planet Earth. There's no happenstance. You're here precisely because you were supposed to be here, and you were put right where God wanted you to be. And you need to wake up to what you are and who you are and who you belong to. And you have the free will to choose, so you can do whatever you want. But I highly recommend you find out what you're on this planet to do. What's your purpose? What are the gifts and the talents and the amazing things that you're capable of doing, your true potential? Because you were created by an amazing being to do great things, amazing things in this world. No matter what you think, that's the truth. And you don't have another day to waste. Why wouldn't you want to do it now? Why would you want to wait? People are always waiting, going to do it later. Procrastination. Stop doing that. That's ridiculous. Why don't you want to start right now having a good time? Let's do it. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Just do it. Do it. Do it now. Why later? There is only now, people. There is no later. There's no past. Right now is all you got. That's all you got. This moment. Life is nothing but a series of moments, moment to moment. You're either living in the moment or life is passing you by. You're missing out. You're not embracing life if you're not here now, present. You need to be present in the moment. Life is a gift, and this moment in time, every moment in time is the gift. That's why it's called the present. The present. Your life is a gift. This moment is a gift. Every moment that goes by is a gift, and you need to embrace it, and you need to live life to the fullest. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy yourself here. And you have a purpose. There's a plan for your life. Some of you have children, some of you don't. Those of us that have kids, we want a great life for our kids, right? Well, the one that made you planned a great life for you and for me. But you're living in a world where you've been programmed and conditioned so heavily that you don't know who you really are. You don't know really what you are. You don't know who you really belong to. You don't even know what you're doing here, probably. But you can find out. But you have to get still. You have to learn to be present. You have to stop allowing all the noise all around you. And that includes people's noise, the state of their mind, all their talking, the news, social media, all the distractions. You got to tune it all out, and you got to get still, and you got to get present. You got to get on purpose. You don't have another hour to waste. Because in case you haven't noticed, we're living in a pretty crazy world. And look at how much the world has changed drastically in the last 2.5 years since the 2020 began. And it's going to change a bunch more. And eventually it's going to become an amazing world to live in. My life is an amazing life right now. 2020 hasn't impacted me at all. Or 2021 in a negative way, or this year. I'm living the life of my dreams because I know how to be present. I know what I am. I know what I'm doing here, and I know who I belong to. So I have a huge advantage over 99.9% of the population. Does that make me better? Nope. But it means I'm having a way better time than most of you. And I want the same for you. And the one who made you wants the same for you. So you have to get on purpose. Your thinking, the way you think, is critical. The way you speak is critical. You're far more powerful than you realize. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what's true. Your beliefs have nothing to do with it. What's true is true, whether you know it or you don't. What you believe is irrelevant. It matters to a point because what you think about comes about. But the truth is not up to me and you. You didn't create yourself. I didn't create myself. We didn't create the planet we're living on. We didn't create the universe we're living in. We didn't create the laws of gravity. We didn't create the laws of nature. We didn't create the laws that govern the universe. It's only the arrogance of man through programming and conditioning that we all overestimate our intelligence and think we know stuff we don't even understand. So here's what I recommend you do. Get yourself butt naked, all alone, standing in front of the mirror. Have a good look at yourself from top to bottom. Have a real good look and see if you like what you've done to yourself. For real. Don't be critical, just be honest with yourself. Look at where you're at. Look at what you've done to yourself. Are you fit? Are you fat? What have you done to yourself? Do you eat well? Do you drink well? Are you looking after yourself? Is there evidence that you truly appreciate your life, the gift of your life? And if you didn't take good care of yourself, you made a mess of yourself, well, we can change that, can't we? You can change it. We can all change what we're doing. You have a free will. You can choose to think about what you're going to think about. You can choose to drink what you're going to drink, talk about what you're going to talk about. You have the choice to have conversations that are meaningful and beneficial, or you can just talk a bunch of nonsense. You can just have idle chatter, and you can just sit there and chit chat with losers and talk about all kinds of stupid stuff. You can watch the news and you can be negative. You have the choice, or you can tune it all out and never give that your attention. And you can focus on what really matters and what you really, really want. And you can give your attention to what you want. And it all starts with you. Your whole life is all about how you think, how you talk, how you drink, how you eat, and what you do with your life is up to you, because you have the free will to choose. And if you made some bad decisions, well, we all have. So change what you did, fix it, make it better. You can do it. It all starts with the mind. In order to have a good mind, you have to pay attention to what you're consuming. Like, what are you consuming? What are you putting in your mind? What voices are you listening to? Who are you listening to? What are you listening to? What music do you listen to? What books do you read? What are you watching on TV? What are you scrolling on your smartphone? Is your smartphone making you stupid, or is your smartphone making you wiser? Like, what are you doing with that smartphone? Who are you hanging on to? Who are you holding on to? Who are you hanging out with? Like, what are you doing with your life? You must be healthy. That is absolutely mandatory if you want a good life. If you want a blessed life, you have to become healthy, body and mind and spirit. That's one of the things that's very different about me than most people. That has been my focus since I can remember. Since I can remember, it's been my focus to have a healthy body, mind, and spirit. It's been the goal, been the plan since I can remember, since I was like a teenager. So that's what I can tell you. This is critically important. If you don't have a healthy body to live in, you're not going to feel well. Your brain ain't going to function right. You're not going to have a healthy spirit, because your decision making is going to be influenced in ways that aren't good. Do you have any idea how many neurotoxins are in the air that we breathe? In the water and the beverages most people drink, in the soil, in the food? The amount of poison that we're exposed to on a daily, you have no idea. You just know a tiny bit about it. Unless you've been studying it for decades like me, how would you know? So that's the number one problem, is toxicity. Toxicity. Toxic thinking, toxic conversations, toxic people, toxic air, toxic beverages, water, drinks, toxic food. What are you going to get when all you do is put toxins in yourself and you sit down with toxic people and you're influenced by your emotions all the day long? Well, do you know where your emotions are coming from? What is creating your feelings? Do you even know? Your feelings are what's guiding most of you. How's that working out? Do you like the way you feel? Do you like the state of your consciousness? Do you like the way you see yourself, the way you think about yourself, the way you think about the world, the way you think about others? Are you happy? Are you a happy person? Do you have happiness and joy? Like, be honest with yourself. Quit fooling yourself. Today's the day to be honest with yourself. Are you truly happy? Are you grateful? Do you have joy? Do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you respect yourself? Are you happy with yourself? Are you happy with the choices you've made? Are you happy with the choices you're making today? Are you happy with the way others are treating you? See, what you put up with will continue. What you tolerate will continue. People aren't going to respect you any more than you respect yourself. People aren't going to love you any more than you love yourself. Your life is a gift. This time on the earth is a precious gift. And there is no limits to what is possible. It all starts with your thinking. The way you think is massively important. Your perception is creating your reality. Your limited thinking is creating a limited life. And your lifestyle is going to determine the outcome.